Kaleohano o Kaleohano ko inoa kuhome 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 o ke o kaulana o ke Kaleohano o Kaleohano ho'inoa ku'aina ku'kulahiri ahuli i ke kai
So he said, wait, I come right back and I get my brother's truck. So, Brother Smitty, thanks for the use of your truck for hotel. We enjoyed that day. You know, we was hesitant for bring down snow because it was evidence that he never go to school that day. But that's the kind of stuff that you hear all day about this wonderful man. Beautiful. Beautiful in heart. I can just tell by the people who's here today that that's the kind of heart this man had, that he shared his manao, he shared his love. And somehow, he touched every one of you. Whether with music or his lifestyle, the way that he did it, you guys are important to him. So again, mahalo. This morning we have a letter from Keola, and it's going to be read by Kuakini Baltero. So Kuakini, would you come up?
Hello, good morning everybody.
Good morning.
Aloha.
Aloha.
That's all I can say, aloha. I don't know all that. But the first thing I have to do is testing. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. I don't know if I got that quite right, but I remember setting up with him and going to all his gigs, and it's the one thing that I remember the most. So I thought it deserved a mic check for today. I'm Kuakini Baltero. My mom, Jackie Baltero, otherwise known as Charmaine. So that makes me his favorite nephew. But I was asked to read this letter from Kaleohano. He was the oldest of us cousins. I believe the last Kaleohano man. Yeah? But if he could, he would be here. Unfortunately, he couldn't, but he sent the letter and I wanted to read it for you. So imagine me about 200 pounds heavier, a little shorter, no neck. But this is from Hilo. Dearest family and friends, I am writing this letter to express the love and gratitude I have for my Uncle Richard Kuakini Kaleohano. Throughout my whole life, I have known Uncle to be a person who loves his music, loves the ocean, who loves the friends, and most of all, who loves his family. While growing up in Kyoka, I have lived with Big Grandma. Sorry about that. I have lived with Big Grandma and raised by my aunties and uncles. Out of all the uncles and aunties, Uncle Piggy was the rebel out of all of them. He did whatever he wanted. Uncle Piggy was full of surprises. I remember one morning, Uncle took his blue convertible Chevy Blazer up to Mauna Kea and shovel snow so we can play outside at Big Grandma's house. He also surprised us by bringing the Makaha sons of Niihau to the house just for Sid, Skippy, and Israel was one treat for it. But the best surprise Uncle Piggy gave us was when he brought his girlfriend, Patricia, to the house. He wanted to introduce her to Big Grandma and Grandma Sally. I remember that day thinking, wow, how's this uncle bringing his holly girlfriend over? Sorry. I lost my spot, man. I really lost my spot. Well, you see, my uncle, whenever they were girlfriends, they had to deal with me because Big Grandma and Grandma Sally would send me with them. So when I come back, I can tell them what happened. Later on, this Haole girl, Patricia, became Uncle Piggy's wife. We call her Auntie Missy. Uncle Piggy was all... Uncle Piggy has always been there for me. I am so lucky to be alive today because of Uncle. My uncles and aunties remember what happened that day, and I will share it with you what Uncle did for me. I was about 3 years old, and being the Kaleohano out of all the cousins, I was always playing around and getting into trouble. My favorite show was Kikaida at the time. I used to imitate all of his moves and try to be like him. Sorry, I'm not going to do his moves. Well, one day I was playing upstairs in Grandma's house, imitating Kikaida, jumping from bed to bed, and all of a sudden, I went overshoot one of the beds and went flying out the window. Well, those of us who remember Big Grandma's house know that the yard is one big hole. So from the window to the ground, it's about 3 stories high. And the ground is rocks. So it happened that Uncle Piggy was playing his guitar in the backyard. When I came flying out of the window, Uncle threw his guitar on the side and caught me. He broke his guitar that day while saving my life. After that, I got dirty lickings from Grandma. Another story I had about Uncle Piggy was when I ate these cookies. I never shared this story to anyone till now. We were all hanging out down at Auntie Eleanor's house when one of Uncle Piggy's friends stopped by. His name was Kehao White. I remember because of his brown race car. Well, Kehao dropped off one bag of cookies for Uncle, and I saw Uncle put the bag in his truck. During the day, I was getting hungry. He was hungry a lot. And I remember the bag of cookies in Uncle's truck. I went sneak in Uncle's truck and eat some cookies. Uncle knew he was missing some cookies. Later on, he found out it was me. I was scared. I thought he was going to yell at me. But he was only laughing. He told me not to tell Big Grandma then. But I think they found out because I still got lickings. Uncle Piggy was there when I hit rock bottom. Uncle knew the only thing that can pick me up was family. Uncle said to me, "Boy, pack your things because you're going to live with me." Uncle was right. I needed family around me. Before I went away, I had a long and good talk with Uncle Piggy. We talked about Big Grandma, Grandma Sally, Auntie Ella, and Auntie Hilo, Auntie Mona, and all those who left us. I remember saying, and I'm never going to forget those who left us. Sorry. I'm never going to forget what I said to Uncle. I said, "Uncle, don't worry about me. I will come back and you're the first one I will see." And Uncle said to me, "Ola, Uncle not going to always be around. Do what you gotta do and come home. The family needs you." Throughout my whole life, I don't ever remember me telling my uncles how much I love them till now. Whenever I call home, I make sure I remind them how much I love them. To all my family and friends, wherever you see one another, could be at the store, at parties, on another island, on the road, remind yourself to tell them I love you before it's too late. So this day, let us all celebrate the life and legacy of Uncle Piggy and remember the love and joy he has put in our hearts. I will always miss you. I will always love you. My Uncle Piggy, rest in peace. Love your nephew, Keola. Thank you.
Things can be really, what some people may think sacred. Kyokaga is it's not really sacred. See, if you're born and raised in Kyoka, especially if you of the male, if you male Kyoka, no matter what you do, Kyoka, I don't care what you could be, you could give your wealth away, you could help everybody fix their house, clean their yard, but do one thing wrong. It's the only thing they remember. You know, you go down in history. That's the one thing they remember. Some people say a poor spot, but so be it. Well, let me get to the eulogy provided for you by the family. Richard Kuakini, Piggy Kaleohano, was born in Hilo on October the 31st, 1957. October 31st, I'll let you guys remember that date now. Remember that date, October 31st. The fourth and youngest child of Smith, Havila Kaleohano Jr. and Sally Kapio'olehua Kaholo. Piggy attended Kaleohano School, Hilo Intermediate School, and graduated. You gotta think, graduated, that's another thing you gotta look at. Graduated from Hilo High, a Viking, once a Viking, always a Viking, in 1976. He grew up here, like many of us here, climbing trees, namely the Aloha trees that used to be in front of the school. We don't just climb any kind of tree. Aloha tree with thorns. That's what Kuakini kids climb. Because plumeria tree easily broken, so we don't like climb them. But climbing trees, playing sham battle in what used to be our old gym, now they don't allow that thing. They say that's, yeah, violence. Absolutely. You cannot, you don't hear people playing sham battle. But sham battle was like moving from childhood to manhood. How many head you can hit. No hit the body, or hit. That's why sometimes we get funny. Swimming down at, for those of you who don't know, BBP. That's what we call Bear Balls Pond. And get reason why it's called Bear Balls Pond. Hello? Obvious. We don't call that Bear Balls Pond and go swim with sharks. You know, you go in the nude. But the reason we did it in the nude, trust me, no, it's not for show off. Was because we started to swim in a place, you know, we all had to go halipule on Sunday, and we all walked to our halipule, where I went to Kuhio track with our mom, and so we all walked. So after a while, you get, you know, young men start saying, oh, we gotta spend 2 hours in church, that. That's what my father said, you gotta go. So we would all meet in the front, hammer all close, hang up nicely on the guava tree. You need to understand, you couldn't see from the road, so that's where we were. And make sure somebody get on watch to tell us what time we okay, walk home. But it became known, and it's still known today as Bear Balls Pond. He surfs at Brown and Awili. And how many of you surf Browns and Awili? Oh my goodness. Okay, no, a couple hands came up. Now you can debunk that myth whether they did or not, because that's to look at the lake. If they get nice, smooth kind of lake, they never surf Awili. You cannot surf Awili and have nice looking lakes. You're gonna get scratches. You know? But now, Vana was what happened. You surf, you get Vana. We all know the cure, right? So sometimes, guys, I don't surf. I just wait for provide the cure. Soon as they say, awi. And hanging out at our den, our gym. And the gym that was here was a gym that was in our community before even I was born. It was out where the sewer plant is now on that point out there, the 46th tidal wave moved the gym. The gym was built in 1934 was moved on the highway. They decided, okay, play on the highway. So they brought it back in the community, and we were there until this one came along in 2003 or 5. That's where he spent his time. Summertime, the family would head Konosai to stay with the grandpa and grandma, Kaleohano down at Kealia and Ho'okena. He and his brothers and sisters spent a lot of time with his uncles, aunties, and cousins, and this was where he learned to fish and dive and so much more. Later, his dad, Smith, went to work down under, so they didn't get to Kona as often. By then, Keokaha had developed. How many buildings we had back here? The red buildings, how many? It's really old enough to know I had 4. And what color was the red buildings? Just checking. That was the Keokaha Rep Center, okay? And another dearly departed friend of ours that was married to Eva Rowe, robbed her from the cradle. But Raymond Rowe, he provided, the idea. And then our rep center became such a point where it developed. It not only kept our children out of trouble, but it developed. See, if I'm talking in the second or the past tense, it's because I was not here when they had the rep center. I'm not really more old than Piggy, but just a little bit. So, the rep center was here. It was a place for Keokaha youth to hang out and hopefully learn a few things. They learned. Some learned to get really good. It was Piggy's second home during his teen years. He was a wicked ping pong player. Can you imagine that? Ping pong player. How many Hawaiians had ping pong in your house? We had them at the gym. I tell you that. I played ping pong here too. Not too shabby on the bench press. Looking at his body, I used to be on the bench press too. Mostly just laying down. But he was in on every jam session. Whenever Keokaha at the rep center when they provided, and that's one of the things that I can always remember. Keokaha was always a musically inclined community. We have great kumuhulas that come out of Hilo, Keokaha, Rose Kumo, Auntie Eva, Kaholo Kua. Those are Rose Nuhi. Those were, I invoke in those names because they were really the impetus of Hula Harriet, Keili Hau, Auntie Edith, who later became a hula exponent. Her mom really was a hula exponent. There was a lot of talented musicians coming out of Keokaha, and while still in high school, he teamed up with Ku'uleahuna from King, Clayton Kua from Andrews, Abe Kiala from King, Bernard Kalua from Lyman, and they formed the group. Piggy was also from Lyman, and they formed the group, the Blawas. Did you hear where I said they came from? Most of them came from King. That's not saying a lot, but most of them came from King. They performed for many years in various Hilo hotspots and were known for both their casual, easygoing style and far from casual musicality. When Bernard moved to Honolulu, Randy Iowani from Todd joined the group. They traveled statewide and recorded 3 albums. Eventually, life and adulthood, that's where the key comes in. Adulthood caught up with the Blawas. Piggy, Kule, and Ben Kaili played for a while, put their brand of music on the side to raise their families and pursue their careers. Piggy's mom, who I'll talk later about, Auntie Sally, she was her, Eva, that's the other 2 of the Musketeers still sitting here. And that's Momi, Bakita, and Eva Rowe, but they're Gomes and Po'ai. How many Po'ais get in here? Supposed to get in there. They used to hold a record in Keokaha. But Po'ais, Keokaha had Po'ais, Hawaiis, and what the other one? 16 kids. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah. Depends how you pronounce it now. It's only get 4 letters. They all had like 4 letters. Ron, Boai, 4, Aina, 4. Hawaii had 5, but they had the most, I think. Piggy's mom, Auntie Sally, was working for the county PNR with Dottie Thompson and George Naopi when they moved the Merrimack Festival and the EO Grog Shop from the Civic Auditorium ground to the new Honolulu complex. Auntie Luana had the Kaleohano boys. She still does. It's slave labor. But she still does. It's slave labor. Kini boy probably still there, but he get baby now, so make your son get ready, boy. But what I'm talking about is that these young men, at that time when Piggy was this young man, the Limahan, they were the ones who did all the setup, clean up, but they don't want reward at the end of the day. Okay? I don't want to tell you the reward. Just volunteer your kids to go help. And that's how Piggy was. The mainstay at the grog shop, both as a worker, a Limahan, and as an entertainer. The recording process had sparked a fascination with the art of mixing sounds. In Piggy and his Merrimack experience led him to the festival's young audio engineer, Glenn Yafuso. Glenn is the guy seated back here. Please, a nice hand. This is Glenn. I don't know how you get the name Funa. I like to know that because it's Japanese. Funa. What the Portuguese call Funa? I'm just asking. I'm Hawaiian. I don't know about that. But back here is Funa. And if you see him fast 2 times, Fufuna. Glenn had already spent quite a bit of time mixing sound for the Palas and was happy to share the knowledge with Piggy. Free labor again. It was the start of a lifelong friendship, and eventually with Glenn's blessing, Piggy formed his own company, RK Audio. Funa, Glenn, was more than Piggy's friend. He was Piggy's sensei. In Japanese, you get sensei. Hawaiian would be kumu, but he was Piggy's sensei, but he was also Piggy's brother. In the midst of all of this, Piggy was renting cars, as was so aptly mentioned by Kaleo, when he talked about that car that came to pick him up with Kehau White, Francis Laimana, and a bunch of other drag racing down Kapoho, and blue lights and racking it up sometimes at the demolition derbies. He was playing volleyball, paddling canoe for Kaleohano Canoe Club. It was through paddling. You guys gotta understand, the canoe, the va'a is what made this happen. It was through paddling that this haole girl, Keola mentioned in his letter, Piggy married. He married Patricia. I know that you guys go on now, all of them call her Patricia. But I do that a lot. Missy Detour on July the 5th, 1979. He graduated in 76. He got married in 1979. Never waste no time. Casey, when you want to go? Casey, like my daughter, premature. Married 79, born 79. No more love for finish the year. July they married. Casey born when? October, July, August, September, October. 8 months premature. Hey, but that's how Kaleohano guys roll. I have a daughter 47 and I told her she was premature. They have 2 children. Casey's here, Kuakini's here. They have Opunas now. And I know that somewhere, somehow, in the legacy of their family, they will know what their papa and who their papa was. But I always used to tell Missy this. You see, it was a blessing that this Hawaiian from Kaleohano married. Everybody, they forgot. They married a Caucasian. He married a Caucasian. Therefore, I told you, you don't know choice who your parents were. No more choice. But Piggy was living up really to the message sent by Queen Aloha, Hawaii. Go forward, bring back the nation. Somehow the Hawaiian Home Commission Act came inside. They said, you gotta be 50% of blood. So he married one Haoligan, half Hawaiian. Casey, Kuakini, half Hawaiian. So it's truly a blessing. This young man really did pay attention to what our allies were trying to do. And to everybody here who married Caucasian, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Because of you, that's how they made half Hawaiians. That's all. In the early years, Piggy worked for Feedwell, Aloha, and Hilo Rice Mill. He eventually hooked up with Mike Evans, who we recently lost, and was part of the Pace Breakers framing crew. These are the guys that go around and they frame a house. I mean, I came back in the 80s and they were framing houses. And it was like, man, you guys all fought. You know, how do you work? But the Malia Malia gang was a moniker opposite of their true nature. This was a time where lifelong friendships and some serious skill buildings were forged. These guys worked hard, fast, and long, and played that way too. When construction slowed down, Augusta Furniture and Music hired him to build some display cabinets, then Pune'i, footstools, Papa Augusta. Project lasted 6 years and only ended because Piggy had built RK Audio up to a full-time business. Through it all, there was music. Piggy played his first professional gig at 14 with Skippy and Randy Koole and Clayton, the Blalas. He gigged with the Paradise Band for a while. There was a King Street Band. King Street. But the leader lived online. But that's all right. We give the average. Okay? I told you, no matter what you do, only one time is correct. Later he borrowed his cousin's Levi Chatrans. When I saw this, I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Levi, are you here? Well, Levi Chatrans, he borrowed his name simply because he liked the name Levi, which included Piggy, Randy, Renard, Kapuni, and George Kamihaika. When George passed away, Randy took a break and it became simply Piggy and Friends. The friends were mostly Renard, Nathan, and Kevin. But Bert and Eddie Atkins were always on call. If you look at it today, most of them are still around, doing what they all did together as performers. He was a mentor to many young performers over the years, but enjoyed Napupuna, our eldest, the most. While still in his early 40s, they declared him an honorary kupuna. I don't think the kupuna realizes how much that meant to him. Kaleohano loved him. There was never ever any other place he would want to be. He had opportunities elsewhere. Could have hit the big times as a recording artist, been a race car driver. But his Kuleana was here. He lived his entire life on this homestead until his passing, 10/20 on Friday, June 20th, 2014. You may go, I'll let you go, but God bless you. You be mine wherever you may be. It's a warning to say aloha. But you'll never find another Kanaka like him, oh no. You'll never find another Kanaka like him. Thank you.